Good morning. It's mid-January and I am just looking into doing my fruit tree sprays. My fruit trees consist of a 1-year-old, no, I think this is a 2-year-old pink satin pomegranate, a 3-year-old wonderful pomegranate, a 1-year-old Fuyu persimmon, a 3-year-old O. Henry peach, and a 2-year-old cotton candy apium over there. So when I planted both of these trees, I did the backyard horticulture thing. I topped the tree at about 2 or 3 feet and allowed it to branch out from there. I cleaned the center of the tree out to a vase shape, both of them, this summer, so that they would not have too many crisscrossing branches. I cleaned out some dead. I cut the vigor off of the top. I did a substantial prune, which probably was potentially too much, but I had not been pruning correctly prior to this. I had been a little too reticent to prune, and as a result, they were getting too big, and they are bigger than they probably should be at this age. So that is the extent of my orchard that I have here in the yard, in addition to the blueberries. I've been carefully checking this tree because the buds have really started to swell on it, and I am concerned that they are starting to break. And the risk with treating any of these that are about to open is the liquid cup will burn the flower and it won't flower that year. So I am going to err on the side of caution and not actually treat this plant or tree with liquid cop. The apium and the pomegranates are both good to go, and I can also treat the blueberry bushes because none of them appear to have swelling buds. Products I'm going to use are liquid cop and horticultural oil. You combine these two. The oil helps the cop stick to the tree. The liquid cop controls funguses and the oil controls insects. Both are useful and need to be applied at least 24 hours before a rain. It is going to rain tomorrow, so I'm doing it on the close side, but I wanted to treat the trees before it gets too late. All right, so I got this all ready, and then I'm just gonna hit the button and spray. Now you have to make sure to drench all parts of the plant when you're doing this, all the way down to the ground and all the way to the tippy top edges of the tree. So one of the things I would also do is I would do some trimming, some winter pruning. I did a pretty severe summer prune back in August. I am not sure how much of this I want to cut back. Of course, I'm not an expert in this at all, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can from. So it's a couple days later, and I took another closer look at some of these buds, and I've decided they're not actually breaking yet, and I'm going to go ahead and treat this tree. One of the other things I didn't mention was that for both of these trees, I stripped the leaves off, even though they weren't dropping. About a month ago, early December, I took all the leaves off the tree so it would go dormant. The other thing to keep in mind is that you probably should do this treatment 3 times a year, in November, December, and January during its dormant period, in order to best protect the plant. The blueberries I have are the Misty, the O'Neill, and the Pink Lemonade. Now, I've had these for a couple of years, and every year I make some sort of mistake that results in a relatively minor harvest. Either a watering mistake, a planting mistake, a sun mistake. So I've only gotten just a few berries each year. Also, last year, the birds cleared out most of the berries before I got to them. Since I'm out here taking care of some garden chores, I went ahead and grabbed the soil acidifier for the blueberries because blueberries like slightly acidic soil. And although I planted them in azalea mix, which is an acidifying soil, it has been over a year and I didn't treat it, I don't think, this last year. I also have 2 citrus trees. I always forget to bring them up. This is a Meyer lemon. You can see from the skin and the color that it's very bright, kind of orangey yellow, very thin skinned and smooth, which makes it sweeter and more tasty. This is the Eureka lemon, and it has more traditional lemons. They're very large. Depending on the amount of moisture we get, I can get some pretty big lemons. For example, this one right here, probably 3 inches, whereas some of them can be a little smaller. This one's more traditional sized, but they have a rougher skin, bigger seeds, and are a little more tart. And both trees are probably 30 years old. They were here in the original landscape for the original owner of the house. And I regularly top this tree and trying to keep it at 15 feet or lower. I also have some trunk paint on it because in the winter, this area will get afternoon sun after it's cold, and I have had issues with sun scald on this tree. That does it for my treatment of my little backyard orchard. Thank you for joining me for my garden journey. See you in the next one.